Dear student, I hope you are keeping safe and adhering to health sector instructions. Today, we're going to explore two pivotal areas that will lay a lasting foundation for your career aspirations. And it will help you to strive and thrive in the new world of work. I would expect your focus and attention throughout the session and take notes where appropriate and ensure that you make this learning an investment for your career. If you look at the graph, there is a rapid acceleration in demand for recruiting since 2016, and as per LinkedIn it was 63%. Recruiting the right talent is increasingly mission critical in today's tight labor market. If you heard it clearly, recruiting the right talent. Now that is something you need to really expend some time to understand what this means by right talent. There are so many qualified graduates waiting to enter into market every day, but few will secure a job in relation to their field. This is because people think education is the only deciding factor when it comes to finding a job. I would say it is one of the most important aspects, but not the only aspect. In most interviews that I've carried out, we would like to test your knowledge. This is because to acquire knowledge, you must possess the curiosity and the hunger to learn new things. To read, to write, to expect, express, to experiment, and to ask the right question, and to think and discuss. Now, these are areas what we would like to explore during an interview and like to see on your resume. Remember, most organization wants to invest on a well-rounded candidate who has the right mindset and eagerness to learn and grow. Why? Because technology is changing our lives on a daily basis. It's not only the work, but also the workplace and the entire world of work. So we need to have a backup plan or have a proactive, preventive plan so how we can work with technology. And also, jobs are fast changing in nature. As we speak, as a result of the disruptive technology, even the definition of job will also be changed. The definition that we know for many years, many decades, might change in time to come. So we need to plan ahead. So in light of that, so let's look at where are we from. This small country called the Pearl of Indian Ocean. We're happy to say that Sri Lanka recently graduated to an upper middle income country in 2018. Now that's a big achievement. But if you look at the statistics that we have an employed population of 8.2 million, whilst we have an unemployment rate of 4.7, and whereas the youth unemployment rate is at 21.6. Now that's if you really gone through these statisticals very carefully, if you look at in the private sector itself, there are around 500,000 vacancies available in various job categories. The question is still finding the right candidate. Now if you look at our unemployment rate and the opportunities are available in the private sector, you can't correlate that. There is a demand, the lack of supply. One would say the supply is there, but the demand is too high. But then again, we need to understand why. Why? Because we are still not finding the right candidate. Now, who is the right candidate? As I explained to you, we need someone. What we need to do is to change the topic. As future leaders, you need to continuously acquire knowledge and learn and learn. If you do that, you will have this well-rounded candidate in front of us where we are delighted to get on board and offer you a job. And also, if you look at our literacy rate, it's at 93.1, which is at a fabulous. And also our computer literacy rate, it's at 27.5. And also the digital literacy rate at 40.3. Digital literacy means that anyone who can operate a digital, like a iPhone or a iPad or tablet or a smartphone, that's the digital literacy. So we are good at that. So the future is around digitalize. Future is digital. We are moving from mobile to AI driven world which has digital. The world is becoming digital. And if you just be relaxed and expect you can find some job, my friend, you will not be an excuse or an answer in next 5 years, because some jobs or all routine and repetitive and mundane work will become automated or done by systems or smart machines. Now that's why we want you to really focus and not just focus on some job, find the right job. To do that, you need to continuously acquire knowledge and learn. Let's look at some stats. So there's a question, is there a degree itself worth it? Now if you look at this stat, now people can't find, 28% people can't find a job that is relevant to their field. Okay? And also 40% is not using their degree directly in their occupation. Now those two aspects are really important to discuss. So that's why you need to ensure that you expand your knowledge, expand your horizon, acquire more knowledge, more education, more avenues, so you will not only focus on limited aspects. You will then find something different. You can fit into any organization. You can be easily adaptable. Your agility is stronger. Then you will get a job with some understanding. So by 2025, if you look at by year 2025, most of these mundane, routine and repetitive jobs will be done by machines. Approximately around 25% of jobs are expected to be replaced by AI. And the use of advanced robots for industrial and services tasks could take on work in 2025. That could be equivalent to an output of 40 million to 75 million FTEs. Now, this is a big challenge. This will be the future. You need to prepare for it before it's too late. So you need to act fast and learn fast to stay relevant. You need to act fast, learn fast to stay relevant, because this is the era that you will get on with your careers. You will explore your careers. Now, when you explore your careers, you have competition, not only human, you have competition with robots and AI and systems like that. Yeah. Even though people are embedding technology into their lives more than ever before, organizations' attempts to meet their needs and expectations can fall short. As an example, 20 years ago, we did everything on paper. But now, paper is quickly fading into digital age. So, we need to relook at everything from global perspective and adapt to new world of work. Take measures to build a strong relationship that suits the new normal. Remember, new normal or the new world of work is global and it's flexible and it's technological. We have nothing but a bright future to look forward as we participate in the new working community. Now that's why Deloitte is saying new digital trends are redefining the relationship between the individual and the organization. Now this is where we want our human skills. This is where we need your knowledge. This is where we need your experience. This is where we need your support and understanding so that you can work with one another as well as work with an organization in the new digital era. Now let's look at a video that will summarize what we have been discussing thus far. Now, just click on the video and you might see a
Everyone's talking about the future of work, and a lot of what they're saying is disturbing. Robots are taking over all manual labor. AI will replace all kinds of white-collar jobs, and humans will be contingent labor, scavenging for the limited work remaining. Yeah, pretty alarming. At Deloitte, we don't see things that way. The future of work is this. That's right, people. People empowered to do what we do best. Thinking creatively, using our emotional intelligence, making value judgments, communicating, teaching, sharing wisdom. Our human capital teams are plugged into worldwide developments and trends, and we see 5 clear realities we can all act upon right now. Reality 1. Everything is on the table. 57% of jobs globally are highly vulnerable to automation. Work, workers, workplaces, they're all going to change dramatically within the next 7 years. Why now? Because a number of factors have brought us to a tipping point. The world of work will change as radically as the world of personal communication began changing 10 years ago. Do you remember questions like these? So change is coming, and to make the most of it, we need to open our minds. Reality 2. Technology learns faster than we can. Amazon uses robots to select, stack, package, and ship items with almost no human intervention. We already know technology learns far faster than we can, but it's also true that it has changed our personal lives more than the way we work. That's good news, because as technology changes the world of work, we'll already be familiar with many of its advances. Reality 3. The new workforce will be highly diverse. 70% of business leaders believe they need a new mix of talent and skills in the future. We've been writing about the open talent economy for years. Well, today, it's here. Traditional employees will increasingly be joined by contractors, freelancers, and crowdsourced talent, as well as robots and AI applications. Office parties will never be the same again. Reality 4. Work to learn, not learn to work. The average half-life of a learned business competency has dropped from 30 years in 1984 to 5 years in 2014, and is still dropping. As routine work is automated, we'll be able to focus more on truly human skills. We'll have careers built around learning instead of careers built around jobs. Reality 5. Public policy needs to catch up. By 2020, more than 75% of the S&P 500 will be companies that we have not heard of yet. All this change will happen while the government still struggles to come to grips with it. But we can't wait for them. It will be up to our leaders in business and society to help drive public policy and bring everyone along. With these 5 new realities in mind, Deloitte is working with organizations around the world to help them recalibrate talent, technology, and workplaces. So while everything will change, we have the framework that can help you understand how to make it work best for you. Above all, we know what the future of work is really all about. Us. So let's get to work.
Okay, now that you have watched the previous slide and the video, I hope you have gathered some information, some insight about the world of work to come. Now let's look at the evolution of the industry. If you look at the first, where industry 1.0, it's all started in 1800, where the people had the desire, had the willingness to change or look at aspect where we can convert manual operation to get some support by using certain commodities available at that time. So that water and steam powered machines were developed as a result of that. And this period, people developed so many machines to support using steam and water, especially in the weaving, loom, and power, steam power machines and things like that. But in the beginning of 20th century, electricity became the primary source of power. Now see, there is a elevation from water, steam powered machines to electricity driven. It became the primary source of power. So during this time, a number of management programs, now that's very essential. Now during this time, the mass production kicks in and the assembly line and using electrical energy. Now during this period, as a byproduct, there are lots of debates or discussion around management principles and programs so emerge and introduced to the corporate world at that time to increase the efficiency and effectiveness of manufacturing facilities. Such as now things like just in time and the lean manufacturers principles were emerged or really sharpen up during this era. If you move from industry 2.0 to industry 3.0, now this is the era at the last few stage of 20th century with the advent of computer. Now this is a very tipping point of the entire evolution, because this advent of computer has completely changed the landscape of the industry revolution. Now that's why it calls the period of transformation. Automation start ruling the industries. Now little by little, with the computer generated programs and things like that, especially the machine learning and stuff, the robots start developing, robots start joining the workforce at a very low space and very certain jobs, like especially at the manufacturing period, where more and more robots are used in the processes to perform tasks which were performed by humans. So there were segments of jobs that humans were doing those jobs, but with the invent of computer and computer related programs, slowly robots start moving into the corporate world and to the industries to expedite or to contribute to mass production in the name of automation. Now, when that evolves over the period of time, and right now in the industry 4.0 where we are living today, it's called a cyber physical systems, or we in an era where everything is done on smart machines, storage systems we call big data, and exchange of information is done through internet, or we call internet of things and networks. This is the era where machines work autonomously without the intervention of human. But in the industry 3.0, machine couldn't work on their own without the support of human. Now in the industry 4.0, machines are working on their own without any support from human. Now if you look at, now as a graduate, as a future leader, what you need to understand is what is next, what will be the industry 5.0 is gonna be. Now that's a question that you need to answer, because you will be working with machines, you will be entering into the corporate world now, but in time to come you will face these challenges. So you need to think that far and plan now. How can I secure my space? How can I expand my knowledge? How can I be relevant in the corporate world in time to come? What I need to do, what I should focus, what should be my next step, what should be my next plan, what is my 5-year plan, what I'm going to learn new. You need to answer all these questions while you are working, while you are planning to apply for an organization, because these questions might come up during the interview. So when you have these questions being asked, you need to have a proper answer to give, because if you don't give proper answers at the interview, interviewers would understand you don't think through, you don't think enough, you don't think beyond boundaries, so you are limited, you are very captive. So people don't want to invest their time in people who are framed and captive. We want people to challenge the current status, we want people to challenge the current system and make something new, look at things in a new perspective, look at things in a new meaningful way, challenge and make sure that we work as a team to create something different, create something unique, create something valuable to yourself, to the organization that you are working for. So in this slide, I'm going to talk to you about very important thing. To get hired, you want to think like a recruiter. I would add more to that. Actually, you need to think like a recruiter plus a marketeer. You need to sell yourself. Now it's like this. Interview is a discussion. It's a business discussion. If I would say in a very layman language, it's a discussion where we will pay you a price for your service. So it's a negotiation. So, but most applicants forget about the real reason why they get hired. Most candidates I have interviewed talk the same language and provide the same or similar answers. For an example, when you ask, why do you want to join us? Most overused reason is contribute to the growth of the organization or providing a solution to a company's problem. Is that the real reason you want to join an organization? No, right? But we tend to provide these sort of answers. Now we need to move away from giving politically astute answers. We all want to join an organization, or we select an organization amongst many after an in-depth understanding or review, and to secure a job that will help me or you to get to where you want to go faster in your career. Simply to grow yourself. So that is good enough. So what you need to understand, so you join an organization with a plan to grow and you work hard for it. Then automatically you contribute by doing. As a result, both you and the organization will excel and accomplish together in a win-win situation. Now that's what we want. But that's what we would like to hear. We would like to hear your plans. We would like to hear your career aspiration, where you want to see yourself. But it has to be very pragmatic, very rational answers. You can't say that you want to be a CEO if you don't have a plan to explain. So you need to have a plan, well thought through plan, milestone. This year I'm going to achieve these things, and next year I'm going to do these things. Then it'll help, like a story. We want to hear your story. What new things that you can bring into this organization? How do you think? How, especially your cognitive ability, your understanding, the rational, the way you look at things, the way you understand things. That's what we like to hear as recruiters. But before we get into a little bit detail or go deeper in this discussion, I want to show you another video and how all these interviews started. Watch this and see if it makes sense to you.
So, you
Please
want to
click
drive?
so that you can read.
What do you do? Me and the have made hunter. Me all together. You hunt together. These days, many men So, they was here, Harry. Take your more time. Hunter? Maybe get it? Why you leave that trap? That's more time. Maybe if it turn bigger. How long you with that trap? 10 months. 10 months? Me hear you leave after 2 months. Me hear you leave and go travel around playing with friends. Me too. Me don't try to chase for time. Me just want to play. Me got just system. Yeah. Lovely. Little. Going to land there, people.
Okay, as you watch the video, what was the learning? I know it's a pretty humorous video, but then again, there's so many things that you can learn. Now, if you look at a realistic answer, if the interviews happen in that era, but still the same mistakes are being carrying, people turn up to interviews unprepared, people turn up to interviews late, people come to interviews with different mindset, don't have a focus, they get stuck, they get speechless. Now even though you are a real gem, You are a blessing to an organization. But if you don't show you're confident, and if you are not prepared for a chat, if you don't understand your value, and if you get stuck in an interview, that's the end of the road. That's the end of the road. So you need to understand. So as I mentioned previously, the biggest challenge in the HR fraternity today is finding the right talent. Now, if you look at this graph, you will see why it is. This became because this challenge became a fact based on research conducted by LinkedIn. 46% of recruiters and hiring managers have identified finding the right candidate as the biggest hurdle in the hiring world. Now, that's an area that you need to really be careful about. But finding the right help. Therefore, to tackle this challenge, companies are reinventing a new HR ecosystem based on big data, predictive analytics, and AI. Why? Simply to automate most areas in the recruitment process, from job advertising and resume screening, assessments, interview scheduling, and even to the level of issuing job offers. Now, if you look at this area, if you just look at this graph, now all these are to be done by a system or a AI driven system. Now, most importantly, before you get into an assessment center or anything, your CV is gonna get screened by a AI driven system or a robot. Now, this is where you need to plan your resume. This is where you need to plan your resume carefully, so you will get through this gate. Yeah. So according to a recent another study by LinkedIn, the average company spend 30% of their recruitment budget on advertising on job site. Cost per hire is one of the biggest expenses in HR most of the companies. This is due to heavy spend on things such as posting job portals, branding, staff to do sourcing and screening. Now, with access to big data and AI-enabled algorithms, are capable of targeting the right job seekers and deliver better quality applicants faster at a lower cost and go on without any breaks, any leave, anything. So they can work around the clock and give you the best results. So as a result, if you look at the graph over here, so AI recruitment will help to reduce the cost per hire, help minimize the time to hire, and improve the quality of hire, and reducing the hiring bias. Now, which is a very crucial area. Now, if you do a physical interview, sometimes you get carried away, sometimes you have predetermined observations, and you have unconscious biasness. Now, all these things will get tossed out if you put a system in place. Yeah. So now in time to come, now most of the companies are doing that. Even in Sri Lanka, some companies are already embarked on this journey. So some companies, they don't have the first level of interview, they only have the final level of interviews. Everything is done through a system. You get a report at the end of the interview session, and based on the with a ranking, and based on the ranking, the final interview will be scheduled with the CEO, the topmost person in the organization. Now it's already happening. So what you need to do is, you need to prepare yourself for that. So now, to prepare for that, you need to create a resume. Now, how do you create a resume? If you search Google, you have around this many results in Google. If you search videos, you get this many results. But how many jobs or how many candidates get tossed over because it's not in the proper format? A resume is a document that includes information about your background and your qualification and other relevant information about you. That will help an employer to get an understand about you very clearly, and it should be easy to read format. The goal is, this is the important task. Now, goal is to quickly communicate what you are, who you are, why you are uniquely qualified for this position based on your skills and experience. Now, it should be, the word that you need to understand here is quickly communicate. Because now, if you think that you create a wonderful, like 3-4 pages resume, put everything that you have done thus far in your life, You think that more you write will get you a proper attention? I had to say no, because if you look at a recruiter's life, they will only spend less than 7 seconds to review your CV. It's not 7 minutes, it's 7 seconds. So you need to create an effort to get the attention of a recruiter over your CV in less than 7 seconds. Now, when you don't do that, you will not be called in for an interview. So your CV will get tossed out. You will not be called in for an interview. You might be the best guy, but it all depends on the recruiter's hand, because at a glance, within 7 seconds, he will decide whether to go through your CV or not. So that is why I mentioned your goal is to quickly communicate why you are uniquely qualified for the position based on your skills and experience. It is very simple as that. Even with millions of help and support, still most candidates don't even secure an interview, as I mentioned. Now that is sad. Why? Because we believe most game changers, as recruiters, we believe most game changers, the real gems, brilliant minds, will not get an opportunity because of their resume. As an example, let's look at a resume, a proper real-time resume. But I would make a caution. This is just an example, only for education purpose. And by sharing this, I do not wish to expose any identities whatsoever. This is purely for learning purpose. Let's look at the resume. Okay, now this person had applied for a position in HR. Now, if you read the resume, if you go from top down, the whatever I have grayed out are the sensitive area which I don't want to disclose. This person started with the initial and the surname. So I had no way of understanding the first name. And then you have the residence address and the telephone number, and you have the email address. Now in the front I have deleted some text which is I purposely removed it. But if you look at that email address, now this email address is not gonna look good on your resume. Your name 1_rocks80@hotmail.com. Now you can have, when you are schooling or when you are in college, you can have some fancy email addresses. But when you are stepping into corporate world, your email address is very important. You cannot use fancy email addresses on your resume. So that itself will give a negative perception about you in the recruiter's mind. From this moment, your resume will be in the rejected lot. Okay. And the photo, most importantly. Photo, the people think they need to put something creative. Now they take a selfie and put a selfie on the resume. Or they take a shot while you are doing some activity. Or when you are in a leisure environment. With the family member. Guys, when you are creating a resume, you need to understand this resume is reviewed by a recruiter. It goes up to a CEO, it goes up to a panel. This is your first impression. CV is your first impression. You need to give a solid impression. You need to look at the picture quality, the picture, the background, everything has to be professional. You don't put selfies on resumes, please. A lot of people put selfies. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. And also, second part, objective. Now this is important. Now if you read the objective here, this person wants to become an excellent HR or IT professional with solid track records in HRM and software quality assurance engineering. Now I was in a bit of a dilemma to understand, is this person really looking for a job in HR or IT, maybe quality assurance, as this person mentioned. Now these are two extreme areas. You can't be excellent in both areas. You can, but it's very rare. Now, if you go through the resume, this person has less experience. You can't be an excellent HR professional. Becoming an excellent HR and IT personnel with solid track records in HRM software. So that's the objective, to become an excellent HR IT professional. So imagine this goes to a recruiter. What this says, that you are not sure about what you want to become. I can become a HR, failing which I become an IT. If I can become an IT professional, excellent IT professional, failing which I'll become an excellent HR professional. Now that doesn't sound right. Your objective has to align to a job that you are applying for. And look at the technical skills. Now the first one is okay, let's say, but there is a way that you put these things, but this is not the right order. But for argument's sake, let's say okay, so program language, have some sort of knowledge in Java. Now this is a killer. You don't put have some sort of knowledge. Knowledge if you have or don't have. You can have, sort of have is not a good answer. So don't put words like this. Don't put sentences like this. I have some sort of knowledge. I have little bit of knowledge. I have. A lot of people do this mistake. So if you don't know, if you are not competent full, don't mention that you know little bit of. But you can discuss that during the interview. Say apart from these things, I also have a sound, or maybe I'm learning Java. I have some knowledge in that area, something like that during the discussion. But don't put that as a requirement or the requisition or maybe a input point in your resume. If you look at the third one, again the same mistake. So these are technical skills. So when you say technical skills, you are technically competent. When you use the word skills, that we expect that you have that skill already. So if you don't have it, don't mention. But you can always make it a point to discuss. If that subject came up during the interview, you speak about it. I'm undergoing some training in this area, so I have some sort of knowledge in Java. I think I can develop on that, something like that. But don't mention that on your resume. Here comes the second area. So currently following a degree, but not in the right format. So if look at the order, followed higher diploma, and put the entire syllabus. Now imagine, now you need to understand the recruiter's job. The recruiters will look at more than 250 CVs on a day, on a typical day. So if every recruiter will given a script that is called the minimum hiring requirement, because not all the recruiters are not expert in all the areas in the business. Hence they are given a minimum hiring document. Based on that only they will screen the CVs. So if you put your entire syllabus here, and that person wouldn't understand anything, most of the areas. What you need to understand is give a bit of description. Use some technical words where it will matches to the role profile that you are applying. Yeah. So don't mention the entire syllabus, and you need to have put everything in reverse chronological order. Then it's easy for interviewer to look at what you are doing right now and then backtrack. Again, a diploma, the entire syllabus is there. So you don't need the entire subjects that you have done. Just a brief, this you have done, these are the areas that you covered, special areas. Whatever you think is important with this job title, put those things. If it is a job that your HR related one, focus more on HR area. If it is a IT related one, focus more on IT related area. And if it is OOP with C++, mention I have learned OOP with C++ during this diploma, and I have got this. So that's a kind of a way that you put it. But if you put the entire syllabus, that doesn't mean that you will secure a seat in the seat at the interview. Third one. Now this is the order. Now see, look at the format. Look at this person. No order, no formatting, different size of fonts, different fonts, and this is not a proper CV. Now successfully completed certificate course, blah blah, became batch what? successfully completed advanced certificate. And also you have one last before the if you look at the one before last, currently following PQHR. Now this person is applying for HR. Everything on the first sets of qualifications talks all about IT, but this person is applying for HR. Now this is not an order, this is not the right order. So you need to understand the job that you're applying, you customize your resume to support the role that you're applying. Now the problem is, now we put our O level and A level, so that's good. I don't say it's bad, but then again, if you have done a degree, we understand that you have gone through A levels. It's if it is really important, you should mention it. If you don't have a degree or anything like that, you mention your A level and O level result. But if you have a degree, we know as recruiters that to get a degree, you need to have at least your A-level qualification. So we know that. And the fact that this person is also from a school in Colombo. So that doesn't mean that people only make mistakes who are really... So this person is either don't know how to create a CV or don't really care. So in my view, I think there are plenty of options that is available in Google and YouTube, but simply seems not interested to create a proper CV. Now this is the mirror, this is your first impression, this is the first document that you are sharing with your intended employer, and this has to be nice and neat. And look at the rest of the stuff. I don't want to go through the entire CV, but I want to mention a point. You need to create your resume looking at the job and looking at your personality. When I look at this CV, unfortunately this person would have been the brilliant and the most knowledgeable, most competent, most required person for the organization, but the CV do not reveal any of those things. So as a result of that, this didn't move forward. So I don't want you all to be in that same situation. There are professional support that you can get. There are enough examples in the internet, and use the technology. Create a CV. Don't copy a CV. Don't copy from somebody else's CV and create the same CV. Now I have seen a lot of mistakes in CVs where people try to copy it from somebody else. Now for an example, I saw a CV. It's a a male CV. At the last 4 or 5 sentences were describing a female. Now that's really embarrassing, and that was another reason people get deselect from at the screening stage, because they are not authentic.
Well, Melissa's here
explain
this
you
morning, and we are talking about resume
what I just mentioned to
typos,
you
the mistakes
in a
people
very
make
summary,
when they're applying for
and
the job.
some
And they're
example of
funny.
mistakes that
Especially when
people
they're not
do
you,
mistake
you know?
on their resumes.
Okay, so
and
yeah,
these
if you're looking for a
mistakes
new
are
job, AOL.com, this is where we got
deadly,
everything from. They have a
and
big
these
list, and they
mistakes
say
are
that last year,
extremely
a
costly.
temporary staffing
This
firm
will
interviewed about 150 senior
make
executives.
your
Are you ready for this?
impression
40%
bad,
said
and
one
you might
typo,
not
and
get
you're
an
out.
interview.
That's it. 36%
you
said,
have to be
we'll take two
extra
typos, but then
careful
that's
when
it, you're
you're
really out. I
doing
don't know
a
if I want to
resume.
work for those people.
I know, right? Well, you know what?
Enjoy the
Actually, I
video.
mean, but that's because in the business we're in, as long as you say it right, it's okay.
Right, for us it doesn't matter,
It
but-
doesn't matter as much. But when you see stuff like that, and that's a person going to be representing you, I can't say I blame them.
And one typo, I mean, one little letter out of place can make a really big difference. So
Yeah,
let's take
yes.
a look at some of these, and we'll see these. A woman wrote the article. She went on some job sites and found some good ones. All right, objective: seeking a part-time position
Woohoo!
with room for advancement.
What kind of advancement you're going to be doing with that?
See, that's where one little letter makes a big difference.
Okay, achievement. Planned a new corporate facility at $3 million over budget.
Yeah. Okay, let's see another resume state. Okay, skills. I am a rabid typist. I can guarantee nobody wants to work with you if you're a rabid typist.
As you foam at the mouth and bark at people as they go by. Okay,
right.
let's see what's the next one. Hobbies. I enjoy cooking Chinese and Italians.
I mentioned this one last
Yes.
time because that one tickled me. I was dying. I think that's
just wrong. It's
incredibly
just wrong. Why
funny.
just them? Why not everybody? You can't discriminate.
They're not up with things. All right.
Now, this is somebody who was way beyond the 6-year plan.
College, August 1880 to May 1984. That's a big problem. You make a mistake on that simple thing, and they're like, "What's with the? You're not getting hired."
Yeah,
Okay,
it means
that's
you've been
funny.
partying a lot. Cover letter. This was a sentence that was in it. I would like to assure you that I am a hardly working person.
At least they're honest. I would hire
hardly work.
for honesty on that one. Okay, that is funny. Personal information. Married, 8 children, prefer frequent travel.
That's way too much information.
Yeah, you don't need to put that kind of stuff
But
on
here's the
there.
thing. With 8 kids, I'd probably try to get out of the house too.
This does actually mean, right, I desperately need a job. I have 8 kids. I'm dying to get out
I'm
of that.
motivated. I am highly motivated. Okay, what's the next one?
Okay.
Language skills. Exposure to German for 2 years, but many words are inappropriate for business. You know what? I know how to curse in almost every major,
course you do.
romance language. I do.
Oh,
I
that
can't,
is funny.
I can't
Okay.
say.
Reason for leaving. The owner gave new meaning to the word paranoia.
You ever think maybe it was you? I don't know. Sometimes you know what, you don't need to put that in anything.
Just so you know, okay, here's achievements.
Nominated for
prom queen. Nobody cares.
that means you're gonna come in like a
Wait,
diva.
and you didn't even win.
I know. Just
I
nominated.
mean, if you were prom queen, maybe that
She
would
was
be.
a wannabe.
Just so you know, a couple things. I don't know if we have more, but they said some things to do to avoid this. Print out a copy so that you can look at it later.
On a hard copy because it's easier to see.
Right. Set it aside, then double check it an hour or two later, and have 3 people look over your resume so that you don't have this.
Okay,
yeah,
have
we
some
do more.
Education. Finished
8th in class of.
Be like, I was in the bottom 3.
Well, who goes to a class of 10? Anyway, okay, that is funny.
All right, let's see what else we got.
Interest.
Okay, this would be great for our job.
Yeah,
Gossiping.
right, I guess. Right. They want to hire the town gossip. Everybody needs that. Okay, resume mistake.
Is there another one? Oh, I love this.
Awards. National record for eating 45 eggs in 2 minutes.
That's nasty.
It is good for the holiday parties. You do need
Some entertainment.
somebody like this at the office.
References. Bill, Tom, Eric, but I don't know their phone numbers. Who are these people? These are people, your friends from the street?
I'm
They
crying.
wouldn't be good
I gotta wipe my eyes
references.
with this. Oh,
Wait, I have tissue for you.
oh,
hon.
okay.
Okay,
We got
salary.
lots of other
I
pillows,
love
so I
this.
haven't
The
run-
higher,
the better. At least they're honest. Okay, let's see another one. Cover letter. Please disregard the attached resume. It's totally outdated.
Here's your tissue.
Okay, thanks. These are very funny. Okay, I think that was
Okay.
it. So anyway, again, double check, set it aside,
Yeah.
get a couple people to look over it,
Yeah.
because one, you see that one little thing, hardly working,
But
and
here's
hard
the
worker.
Thing. People who made those kind of mistakes, especially the last ones, you know there's other craziness all over their resume.
Yeah.
You know there is.
So there you go. Okay,
But thank you for making me laugh.
right.
And I hope you
Here's
get
some
a
Kleenex
job.
for you. I
once
didn't
you
use
fix it.
that
Oh, you gave me
In
a
case
dirty
you're,
one?
I didn't use that one.
Oh, okay.
Okay, never mind.
Okay,
Give
give
it
it
back.
back.
I was
give
trying
it-
to be nice to you.
Okay, fine. You can't be nice to people sometimes.
I hope you like the video. As I mentioned, on a typical day, the recruiter would look at 250 CVs and select around 4 to 6 candidates will be interviewed and only one will get a job. Now see the ratio. Now we want your CV has to be in the second, and finally your CV has to go up to the offer stage. So if you want to create a CV that will have 6 to 7 seconds and get a recruiter's attention. And 87% recruiters use LinkedIn to check candidates. Now that's a area that you need to focus again. Now don't just because you have a brilliant CV doesn't mean that's the end. We will look at the CV. If you are okay, if the recruiter feels that you are a potential candidate, the next thing that they will do is they check you on LinkedIn. Not only LinkedIn, every social profile. So you need to be, so I encourage you to create your own LinkedIn page, update it, get recommendations, keep it updated, because that's another good way to portray yourself from the resume. So you have a nice resume, you also have a updated LinkedIn profile which will help the recruiter to reach out to you and get more information about you. And also, if you look at the third point, Now, referrals are hired 55% faster than those hired through a career site. Now, what do you mean by referrals? Referrals means an existing employee refer a friend to the organization, or refer a friend or a person to the organization. Now, this is important and this is very productive. Now, to do that, you need to have a proper network. To have a proper network, you need to create your profile visible. How do you do that? Good things would be you join a Toastmasters club, you join a Rotary club, join certain corporate groups, join a professional body. Like through those things, you get more people, get to know people, you'd socialize with people, then people would remember you. So when companies are wanting to hire people, these people will always recommend you because they know you, they have associated you, so they have seen who you are. Then it's easy to get a job because you come with a recommendation. You come for an interview, your CV shared with a recommendation, so that will help you to secure an position at the interview. So that's a very good thing. So keep building your network. And also 75% employers quote a lie on their resume. Like I mentioned before, a lot of people like to lie. I say they don't do it intentionally, they do it unintentionally, but the results will be detrimental. For an example, let's say you put a lie, just say you are a head prefect of this school, but actually the interviewer is also from your school. So that's a big question. And you say you played rugby, and the guy who's interviewing is the rugby captain of your school. You never know. So likewise, people tend to put some general, because if they don't have extracurricular activities, just put some activities thinking that the interviewer would not understand. Maybe the interviewer would not know you, but interviewer's friend might know. So if during the interview, if the interviewer feels that you are really good, they will check with someone. He's from your school. What do you think about this guy? This guy. If they give you a wrong impression, that's it. So do not lie. Never lie on your resume. Now, I mentioned that about LinkedIn page. Now, when you create a LinkedIn page, you need to be very careful about how you portray yourself. Now, these are some examples of worst LinkedIn profiles. I don't want you to end up in these lots. So when you create a LinkedIn profile, it's a professional body. LinkedIn is a professional body. So you associate professionals in that social media platform. Now, this person, she's a student from a state university, and if you read this, now this is not LinkedIn is not Tinder or some dating site where you can put everything, expose your feelings or share your understanding about your incidents. So that is not the place for it. So please do not use this as a link, as a place to get attention from people. LinkedIn is a professional network. And also, when you're entering information into LinkedIn, please be precise and concise. Do not write essays. Do not use words that are not representing you. Use words that will only describe you, because at the end of the day, you will be judged based on what you have mentioned. At the interview, I have seen lots of people say I'm self-motivated, but during the interview, we feel he's the most demotivated person that you ever come across. And when we ask for example, people get lost. People become speechless. They can't explain why they are saying they are who they are. They say I'm a very highly energetic and dynamic and socially friendly and self-motivated professional, and I'm an excellent learner. How do you define excellent? When you're using words, please be careful. Not only LinkedIn, look you up on social platforms. For an example, people we look you on social media, especially LinkedIn and then on Facebook. Now we look at your Facebook. If it is a general public profile, we can see the entire history. But we look at mutual friends, and we can find mutual friends, and we certain posts we can see. So what you post on social media could have serious repercussion on your professional life. So that is number one. So what you need to understand, if you are stepping into the corporate world, you need to have a very clean and neat and professional LinkedIn page and your social or every social platforms like Facebook to Instagram to whatnot. So it could cost you, because if you don't do that, it could cost you your current, if your job and your future, if you're already in a job that will have repercussion on your current job, or else if you're looking for a job in the future, that will have an impact on your future job. Because there was a study done by Career Builders. 70% of employers use social media to screen candidates during the hiring process, and about 43% employers use social media to check on current employees. Now, current employee segment is not relevant to you, but the bit that 70% of employees use social media to screen candidates. Now that is important to you all. Now see, 70% of employers look at your social profile to screen your resume. Now so your social profiles will resonate who you are. So in your resume you can be nicely articulated, nice sentences, nice paragraph, give you a nice set of feeling. But if you look at your social media pages, if it is so ugly, if it is so hatred, then obviously you will not get an interview. So make sure that you don't have a very professional approach for your social media platforms. So as I mentioned, most employers view LinkedIn as a secondary resume, and other social media sites such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and more personal stuff, because the world is at your fingertips. We can find everything about anyone. Just click of a button. So the world is that close. So you ensure that you invest everything looking at future. This is really important when you're sharing information, sharing posts on social media. And before we get to more information on that, let us watch another movie, small video clip that will show you why we are saying do not lie on. I hope you enjoyed. So now we are coming to the last segment of our session. So now these are things that you need to be extra careful or watch out when you're on social platforms. If you're sharing posts of a sexual nature, that's a alarm. If you use profanity or bad language, that's a red alarm. If you are commenting on race, gender, religion, ethnicity, that's a direct red alarm that you will not get a job at most of the companies. And bad spelling or grammar, yes, there's sort of a tendency. You might you need to be careful about that as well. And photos of consuming alcohol. Now this is a kind of a tricky area, because we want people to enjoy. We don't want people who are really introvert and really be alone, and we want people to mingle and explore the world. But that doesn't mean that you every single photo, every more you go down on your profile, if you see every day you are sharing drinking, that shows that you are not a social drinker, or you have parties every day. So we like to have socialized people, but we don't like to have, most of the companies, we don't like to have party animals. Because if you party every day, your productivity on the next day is less. That is proven. But if you are a person who's like a party type of person, then it's something we really need to evaluate. And it's also, if you are sociable, very good, but draw your line. Know where to stop. Know what to share. you don't share everything what you do on daily basis in your Facebook profile or Instagram. And also this is very important. Now if you are active in social profile excessively, that is also a red alarm. Now say you share only good stuff, your profile is really good, but your frequent of you being in the profile and sharing stuff is very excessive. So in that case we believe that you, even if you offer you a job, there is an addiction, you will continue to look on Facebook and update stuff like that. You will be on the social platforms rather than working. So that is also another alarm. So what you need to understand is there is a time for everything. Understand your time, practice, and know where to draw the line. And most importantly, posting socially objectionable opinions. Now this is really important for us. I have seen a lot of people sharing lots of stuff, lot of comments about so many things, and sharing posts extremely hatred, and that's not a good sign. We cannot judge. We can raise our opinion, we cannot judge. So don't judge people, or don't think that you are right, and do not voice your opinion every place. There's place to raise your opinion, there's a place to voice up your points, but social media is not a place that you really open up, because it's social. So you need to be careful what you are sharing and what you are commenting on. And also now if you want to make a perfect resume, now this is how you need to do. So I will touch base on some key aspects, and I will leave the rest for you to explore and find. Remember, resume is a summary of your career or your aspirations or education, whatever it is, but it's not a creative writing or an essay. Please don't get these two mixed up. Some people's resumes are like 5 pages, 6 pages long. It's like reading a short story. Your CV shouldn't be like that. It has to be very precise and very easy to read format. So choose a template. If you go to Google, there are plenty of formats that you can download or design your own. There is no harm in you designing your own, which is really good. And always use a standard and readable font. Now I see a lot of people use different fonts for their resume, which is wrong. You need to use one font. For example, if you are using Times New Roman, use Times New Roman for everything. If you are using Caliber, use the same thing. So if it is Arial, use the same font, and make the font size not really large, not really small, but get a medium size. Font size would be 10 or 12 would be ideal. So first you create a header with your name and contact information. Please mention your calling name and your surname. I know most Sri Lankans have a long name, so we all have long names, but if you try to put the entire name on your resume, will be a problem. If you really want to put your entire name, please underline or bold your calling name. So because we will call you by that name. So instead of going through all this drama, if you can make your calling name and your surname would be ideal. Then your address, your email address, maybe your LinkedIn profile link. That will be really awesome if you can put that. Yeah. Then your contact details. This is very important. Now I have come across people who have given contact information where we want to call them. Either the number is not reachable, or they have given their boyfriend's or girlfriend's number. Please do not give your boyfriend or girlfriend's number, because sometimes when we call them, you are not with them. They say, I don't know him. Something like that. It happened to me, and I called a person. This person answered the phone, and he said he's not with me now. So that's another big problem. And they share their home telephone numbers, and nobody's picking. Reason: both the parents are working. Now, obviously, if you put a home telephone number and your mobile is not working, we try to reach you on the landline. If the fixed line is also not working, that means you are uncontactable. So that means a recruiter will not spend more time on your CV. It will be go back to the either hold lot or maybe to the rejected lot. And so list your work experience and education experience in reverse chronological order. When you say reverse chronological order, means your latest one at the top, likewise. So it's easy. So if you have less work experience, start with your education. So give your primary prominence to your education. Start with the highest education. So likewise. And place your keyword. Now, this is important. Now, let's say if you are applying for an organization, that organization work with AI recruitment, now that system will pick certain words. The system will read certain words. So you need to use these words. Now, how do you use these words? You need to first understand the job profile. Now, read the job profile. Then you understand the role. Then you describe the role. You need to customize. Every CV has to be customized for each job role, for each company that you are applying for. Then only you can find these unique words. Place this keyword. If you have led a team, use the word I have led a team. I have captained, and I have executed, planned, organized, participated. Those keywords where we would like to look at those words. So those are the points that any system would pick up. And please, like I mentioned, tailor each resume to the specific job you are applying for. And please proofread carefully before submitting your resume. I have come across a CV, they have autocorrect the entire resume. What will happen when you autocorrect names? It will give a different name. So please be careful. These are very small mistakes that people do, but will be very costly impacts. So before you submit a resume, give it to someone, give it to your parents, your friend, or whoever it is to proofread it. And after they proofread, give it to someone else also to proofread it. Then when you are confident, then save your resume as a PDF file. Why I'm saying to save it as a PDF file? Because your formatting, everything will be there. Because certain organizations use certain OS systems and different versions of Microsoft. So then sometimes the versions might clash. So to avoid that, please save your resume on a PDF and you save it and keep a copy with you, and always keep a couple of printed copies with you, colored printouts, and keep it very neat and tidy. Always remember the golden rule: keep it simple. Don't clutter your resume. Keep it very simple. And try to summarize as much as possible without diluting the content. Try to summarize. Get help from someone if you can't do it by yourself. And when you've done it, your CV is perfect.
Hi, it's Zoe
last but
back
not
again
least,
with some
there's
insider
another
tips
video
on
that
how
I'd
to
like
write
to
the
play.
killer CV.
That will talk to
Give
you
a Grad a Go is the
about
UK's
creating a
leading
killer
specialist
CV.
graduate
Now,
recruitment
I want
agency.
you to, after this
Every
video,
day
I
we
want
look at a
you to
huge
really,
number of CVs,
re-
so we
relook
know
at
what
the
can make
video
you
again
stand out.
and create your own
Tip
killer
1.
CV.
Get the basics right.
Okay, you
It
can
may seem
click
obvious,
to
but
watch.
making sure that the information and dates you have on your CV are accurate can make a huge difference. Employers value attention to detail, so a small mistake in this area will be a red flag to them. Make sure that all of your education and employment dates are correct and that any temporal gaps are explained. For example, if you took some time off before or after uni to travel, make sure you put this in your CV. Get your phone number and email address right. You'd be surprised how many people forget a digit or a letter on their CV. And if an employer can't contact you, they can't ask you for an interview. A fresh pair of eyes can be really helpful with these things. Get someone you trust, a friend, lecturer, or parent, to proofread your CV. They'll catch mistakes that you might miss. Tip 2. Less is more. When you graduate, it's tempting to think that the more you have on your CV, the better you'll look to an employer. But no one wants to read through pages of all the societies you've been a member of and the paper round you had when you were 12. Do your best to keep your CV down to one page and make sure all experience is relevant. List your education first, followed by your experience, and give bullet point details on each. Your dissertation might have taken blood, sweat, and tears, but it's unlikely that an employer will be interested in its title, so keep it short and sweet. The essentials are university attended, degree result or predicted result, and A-levels. List your experience in historical order, but spend more time and space on the work experience that is relevant to the sector you're applying to. Tip 3. Formatting is your friend. A good-looking CV can make or break you. If the text is too small for employers to read, it's going to make it hard for them to see you as a candidate. Formatting can really help you to make your CV, and therefore yourself, as attractive as possible. Make sure you set your margins to wide, that way you can fit more on the page. Be consistent in the way you set out information. There's no point switching from bullet points to stars halfway down the page. And make sure you're using the same type and size of font throughout. You don't need to list your references when making an application, unless it's specified by the employer. Just have a short sentence at the end of your CV that reads, "References available on request." Tip 4. The modern day cover letter. It's hard enough writing a CV, let alone a cover letter. Lots of places will ask you to submit one to express your interest in a specific role, but there is a way of conveying that interest without having to write a 2-page document. When you're building your CV, make sure you include a personal profile section at the top of the page. You can tailor this to the position you're applying for. It shouldn't be longer than 5 lines, and try to avoid cliches like "I am passionate about," but make sure you convey that you're enthusiastic and eloquent. This is particularly important when you're submitting your CV to agencies. They'll rarely ask you for a cover letter. If you'd like some more advice on how to write a killer CV, visit the help section on our website, giveagradago.com, where you can find more tips and CV templates. If you're a grad, give us a go. Next, I'll be revealing industry secrets on how to nail the interview process.
Okay, alas. So I believe we discussed many things and hope things will be better. You have learned something new, you have learned something different. What I want you to do is to make use of this session. I want you to spend some time understanding who you are. Take a minute or maybe take a day. Now it's the right time. You are at home. Take a day, maybe a half a day. Go to your room. Sit and look at yourself. Do a retrospective review. Do a reflective review. Who you are, what you are capable of. What are your strengths? What are your areas of improvement? What areas that you like to do? Who do you want to become? What is my passion? Where do I want to see myself in another 3 years? What sort of industry that I like to work for? What sort of jobs that I want to explore? What are my competencies? What I'm really good at? What sort of person I am? What have I done during school days? What was the most important thing or the most memorable thing that I have accomplished? Where did I fail? What areas I need support? My areas of improvement. Likewise, start digging. Do a retrospective review. And then jot down everything on a piece of paper. And then try to connect with your dream. I have a dream to become a manager. Okay, when do I want to become a manager? Have a plan. To go there, I have these with me right now. But I need more ammunition. So I need to learn these things. I need to have a job in this organization, this industry. Why? Because that organization will help me to grow. Learn about the industry, learn about the organization, then create your resume. Think, and create your resume. Have a couple of options. Study the organization, understand what they are doing, how that organization will help you to achieve your dreams, then do the resume. You can do a killer CV or a standard CV, whatever the format, do it right and just do as I explained. When that is done, there is higher probability that you will get a seat at the interview. And for that, I wish you all the best. And I hope this session is useful. Please take the learning, make this investment a positive investment for your future. Thank you, all the very best.